Imagine pouring your heart, your soul, and your talent into music, dreaming of fame, awards, and financial freedom, only to find out that the people who promise to help you rise are quietly taking more than their fair share. This isn't just a nightmare, it's the hidden reality for countless hip-hop stars behind the glitz and glamour. From blockbuster hits to sold-out tours, the money flows in. But does it really reach the artists who earned it? Labels that once claimed to be the backbone of hip-hop success are now under the microscope, accused of clever schemes, hidden fees, and contract tricks that leave even top-charting rappers wondering where their millions went. Imagine being part of a label that rakes in over $1 billion in revenue, while the very artists creating the culture are left questioning if they're making a dime. The truth is, some executives have perfected the art of profiting from talent while keeping the spotlight, and the bulk of the cash, on themselves. From modern-day moguls running multi-million-dollar empires to legendary figures whose influence shaped the genre, the stories of financial manipulation stretch across decades. Rappers who trusted their labels, who believed they had partners in their success, have spoken out, revealing shocking details that most fans will never see. This isn't just gossip, it's a deep dive into the money games, the power plays, and the behind-the-scenes deals that have shaped hip-hop as we know it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're exposing how some labels secretly profit off hip-hop stars, revealing stories of betrayal, ambition, and survival. By the end of this video, you'll see the industry in a whole new light, and maybe even question everything you thought you knew about the business behind the beats. The music industry has always had two sides, the one the public sees and the one that happens behind closed doors. On stage, rappers are celebrated as cultural icons, flashing money, jewelry, and designer brands. But behind the cameras and red carpets, the story is far different. Many of the artists we idolize are trapped in deals that look glamorous on paper but are designed to extract as much as possible from their work while giving them just enough to stay quiet. And the sad truth? The people they trust the most, the labels promising support, growth, and stability, are often the ones orchestrating the biggest financial traps. Take Quality Control, for example. The label skyrocketed to fame by signing some of the hottest acts in the game, artists who dominate the Billboard charts and command sold-out tours. But underneath the surface, there are whispers, stories from insiders claiming that the label's executives have mastered the art of financial maneuvering in a way that benefits them far more than the artists themselves. Multiple sources allege that millions, sometimes even billions, of dollars pass through these deals without reaching the pockets of the talent who earned it. And while the public applauds the luxurious lifestyles of rappers, the reality is that many are fighting just to receive a fraction of the money their music generates. The same patterns repeat across the industry. Look at 50 Cent, once the poster child for business-savvy rappers. While he built his brand into a billion-dollar empire, he has publicly shared stories about how contracts and deals can be rigged in ways that leave artists powerless. Behind the fame and the flashy endorsements, there are always clauses designed to protect the label first and the artist second. This isn't just about greedy executives, it's a carefully constructed system that's been in place for decades, and it continues to trap even the biggest stars. Historical examples only reinforce the pattern. Death Row Records under Suge Knight became infamous not only for its violent reputation, but also for the way contracts were used to control talent and siphon wealth. Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg weren't just artists, they were investments, and the money generated from their music often ended up entangled in complicated legal structures that benefited the label far more than the creators. Even as these artists grew in fame and influence, they constantly battled to maintain financial independence, a struggle that continues today for modern rappers navigating multi-million-dollar deals. Then there's the human side, the emotional and psychological toll of these financial arrangements. Artists pour themselves into their music, creating cultural moments that resonate globally, yet they're forced to negotiate, fight, and sometimes even publicly call out the labels that hold their careers in their hands. Lil Baby, for instance, has spoken about navigating deals in a way that keeps him protected while still allowing him to grow. He represents a new generation of rappers aware of the pitfalls older artists faced, yet even with knowledge, the system is designed to extract maximum profit from talent. Every advance, every royalty, every tour deal comes with layers of deductions, hidden fees, and contractual clauses that leave artists constantly calculating whether the label or the artist will win that month. Even smaller details reveal the imbalance. Producers and managers, often unseen by the public, sometimes act as intermediaries between artists and labels. While some genuinely work in the artist's best interest, others are accused of colluding with labels to ensure that profits are tilted heavily toward the company. The complexity of these arrangements makes it nearly impossible for a young rapper, fresh out of their neighborhood, to navigate without guidance. And unfortunately, guidance is often the very thing that comes with strings attached. And then, of course, there are the public disputes. Artists occasionally break silence on social media or in interviews, hinting at the financial manipulation happening behind the scenes. When young Dolph was alive, he often highlighted the difference between independent success and navigating the confines of major labels, emphasizing the importance of owning your masters and understanding the financial implications of every deal. His experience became a case study for newer artists, a warning that even if you're on top of the charts, a lack of control over your business can cost you millions. Fans often assume that if a rapper is wearing designer clothes or living in a mansion, money isn't an issue. But wealth in hip-hop is complicated. Labels often front costs for music videos, promotions, tours, and even lifestyle expenses, which are then recouped from the artist's earnings. What seems like a luxury paid by the label is frequently deducted from the artist's revenue, sometimes leaving them with far less than expected. And when disputes arise, contracts are structured in such a way that legal battles favor the companies, making it a costly and exhausting fight for any rapper to reclaim what they believe they are owed. The pattern is clear, whether it's QC today, Interscope in the early 2000s, or Death Row in the 90s, labels have consistently found ways to position themselves as the gatekeepers of success while keeping the lion's share of the profits. And the artists, the voices that define the culture, are often left navigating a labyrinth of legal, financial, and emotional obstacles just to ensure their work doesn't disappear into someone else's pocket. But this story isn't just about shady deals or greedy executives. It's about power, influence, and survival in an industry where control is everything. For every rapper who speaks out, there are dozens who quietly accept the status quo, either because they lack the resources to fight back or because the risks of speaking out are too high. Every hit song, every viral moment, every sold-out arena show is intertwined with decisions made in boardrooms far away from the spotlight, shaping who profits and who doesn't. And the worst part? Many fans have no idea. They see success as a symbol of triumph, not realizing that the journey to financial freedom in hip-hop is often littered with hidden traps and manipulations. It's a complex dance between creativity and commerce, trust and betrayal, ambition and exploitation. The next time you stream a track or watch a music video, remember that there's an entire world behind the scenes, one where the money doesn't always follow the talent, and the ones controlling the checks often have no connection to the culture they're profiting from. Hip-hop is a story of resilience, creativity, and rebellion. But it's also a story of financial strategy, legal maneuvering, and calculated profit. And in this industry, knowing the game is just as important as having talent. Those who understand the rules and the loopholes survive. Those who don't, they risk being exploited, sometimes without ever realizing it. While the first part showed the broad picture of financial manipulation in hip-hop, the deeper truth lies in the details. How labels structure deals to maximize profits, sometimes at the expense of the very artists who make them rich. It's one thing to hear that rappers don't see all the money their music generates, but it's another to break down exactly how these schemes play out, layer by layer, behind the glimmering facade of success. Take advances, for example. When a label signs an artist, they often provide a large upfront sum, what many call an advance. On the surface, it seems like free money, a reward for talent and potential. But in reality, this is just the first trap. Advances are not gifts, they are loans that must be recouped from the artist's future earnings. Every dollar spent on recording, marketing, videos, or even lifestyle perks is often deducted before an artist sees a single check. This means that by the time the song hits streaming platforms and the tour sells out, the rapper may still be in debt to the label. The advances create an illusion of wealth while keeping the artist financially tethered. Then there are royalty percentages, one of the most misunderstood aspects of record deals. Many fans assume a number like 10% of royalties means the artist takes home that cut, but labels use complex accounting practices to dilute these earnings. Deductions for distribution, production, promotion, and management fees can drastically reduce the actual payout. Even top-charting albums that generate millions in revenue can leave the artist with only a fraction of the expected income. It's a system designed to keep the label in control, and only those who understand the financial mechanics, like 50 Cent or Jay-Z, manage to navigate it successfully. Beyond the numbers, the psychological aspect is equally insidious. Labels often maintain power by controlling public perception. Social media posts, interviews, and appearances are tightly managed to project an image of success. Fans see a lifestyle of luxury, unaware that it may be funded partially by the label or even by loans the artist is obligated to pay back. This not only keeps the fan base satisfied, but also reinforces the idea that the label is indispensable. It's a subtle form of manipulation. If the public sees the artist thriving, it discourages scrutiny of the financial arrangements behind the scenes. Historical patterns repeat across decades. Death Row Records is a classic case study. Suge Knight, notorious for his aggressive business tactics, signed some of the era's most talented artists. Tupac Shakur, while achieving iconic status, often faced challenges in accessing his own earnings. Contracts were structured so that almost every expense, recording, touring, promotion, was charged to the artist. When combined with legal disputes and management conflicts, even megastars could find themselves financially constrained despite massive commercial success. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and others navigated the same treacherous waters, constantly negotiating to maintain both creative control and financial stability. Fast forward to modern hip-hop, and the tactics have evolved, but the principle remains the same. Quality Control, Interscope, Epic, and other major labels have built multi-billion-dollar empires, while artists sometimes struggle to understand exactly how their money is managed. Sources close to the industry allege that subtle contract tricks, like ownership of masters, publishing rights, and profit-sharing percentages, are often exploited to favor the label. For example, owning masters, the original recordings, can mean the difference between earning passive income for decades versus giving away nearly all future earnings. Many younger artists, eager for fame and attention, sign away these rights without fully realizing the long-term consequences. Independent artists, on the other hand, showcase what's possible when these controls are removed. Artists like Young Dolph, before his tragic death, emphasized the importance of independence and ownership. By controlling his own music, negotiating his own tours, and managing his own brand, he retained the majority of his earnings. This contrast highlights the financial gap between those who understand the business and those who trust the traditional label system blindly. It's not just about money, it's about control, autonomy, and survival in an industry that rewards knowledge as much as talent. Even producers and collaborators are caught in the same web. Many producers work under deals that pay them a flat fee up front, with no share of long-term royalties, while the label continues to profit from the music they helped create. Some managers, initially seen as mentors or advocates, are accused of prioritizing label profits over the artist's welfare. The combination of legal complexity, financial opacity, and industry norms makes it nearly impossible for most artists to see a transparent picture of their own revenue streams. Public disputes occasionally shed light on these hidden systems. When Migos publicly called out QC, rumors suggested tension over revenue distribution and decision-making power within the label. Similarly, artists like Lil Baby have hinted at navigating contractual nuances that prevent them from fully controlling their creative output or financial destiny. Even small discrepancies, like a music video budget that's recouped from royalties, can result in hundreds of thousands of dollars diverted from the artist to the label. These incidents might seem isolated to fans, but they reveal a broader pattern. The game is designed to reward the label first, with the artist benefiting only if they're savvy enough to fight back. It's also important to consider the role of streaming platforms. Revenue from streams often flows through the label before reaching the artist. While the public sees billions of streams and assumes huge earnings for the performer, the actual payout is heavily filtered by the label, distribution costs, and administrative fees. A song generating $10 million in streams might leave the artist with only a small fraction, while the label collects the bulk. This reality contradicts the perception of instant wealth that social media and flashy videos suggest. The high-stakes nature of this industry creates tension and drama beyond the financial realm. Relationships between artists, producers, and executives are influenced by money, loyalty, and control. Deals aren't just contracts, they're power plays. The fear of losing relevance, being dropped from a label, or facing legal battles pressures artists into accepting terms that aren't in their favor. Public appearances and performances might project unity and success, but behind the scenes, negotiations, lawsuits, and strategic maneuvering shape every move. The more you examine these patterns, the clearer it becomes that the modern music business is less about supporting artists and more about controlling the flow of wealth. Labels offer the promise of fame and exposure, but the cost is often hidden until it's too late. The industry rewards talent, yes, but it rewards business acumen and contractual knowledge even more. Those who fail to understand the system risk being exploited, while those who master it, like Jay-Z or Master P historically, secure financial empires that extend beyond their music careers. Yet, despite the challenges, artists continue to create.
Why?
Because the culture is bigger than money, and hip-hop has always been about expression, resilience, and storytelling. But the stories of hidden profits, mismanaged contracts, and label exploitation serve as a stark warning to newcomers. Talent alone isn't enough. Knowledge of the business, understanding the fine print, and maintaining control over one's work are essential for survival. And in this landscape, every move counts. Every clause in a contract, every accounting decision, every negotiation can define an artist's career trajectory. The reality is clear. Some labels have perfected the art of profiting off talent while keeping creative and financial power firmly in their hands. And while fans celebrate the glamour and success, behind the curtain, the game is unforgiving, strategic, and often ruthless. For every artist thriving financially and creatively, there are dozens navigating contracts, deductions, and recoupment battles, all while trying to keep their careers alive in an industry that rarely gives second chances. Hip-hop is more than music, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. And in that business, knowing how to protect yourself is just as crucial as knowing how to make hits. The stories of exploitation, hidden profits, and power struggles aren't anomalies. They're part of the fabric of the industry, woven into the contracts and deals that define modern rap culture. As we continue this journey, the next segment will dive even deeper into specific scandals, shocking artist experiences, and the mechanisms labels use to maintain control, revealing truths that are often hidden from public view. By now, it's clear that the financial landscape of hip-hop isn't just complicated, it's a battlefield. But when you look closer, the stories of betrayal, manipulation, and exploitation aren't abstract concepts. They're real-life experiences of artists who trusted the very people meant to support them. From chart-topping stars to rising sensations, these tales reveal a side of the music industry that rarely makes headlines but has massive implications for anyone trying to make it in hip-hop. Take young Dolph, for example. Long before he tragically passed, Dolph was outspoken about the difference between independent success and being tied to a major label. While he had opportunities to partner with big names, he chose to stay independent for one simple reason: control. By owning his masters and managing his finances carefully, he ensured that the majority of revenue from album sales, tours, and merchandise stayed in his pocket. Other artists weren't so lucky. His experience became a blueprint, showing that independence often means freedom from exploitation, even if it comes with higher personal risk. Then there's the story of Migos. At the height of their fame, rumors swirled about disputes with quality control over royalties and decision-making power. Insiders claimed that even after producing some of the biggest hits in recent memory, the group faced constant negotiations to get fair compensation. Fans saw the glitz, limousines, designer clothes, red carpet appearances, but behind the scenes, there was a complex tug-of-war over money that most people would never imagine. Every new release, collaboration, and tour became a strategic negotiation, not just about creative output, but about who would ultimately benefit financially. 50 Cent's history offers another revealing perspective. Early in his career, he was vocal about the intricacies of record deals and how they could be leveraged or abused. He shared stories of how artists could be drained financially even as their popularity skyrocketed. The key, he explained, was understanding the fine print and never trusting appearances alone. For example, a contract might promise a percentage of album sales or merchandise, but hidden deductions for marketing, distribution, and label overhead could drastically reduce the take-home amount. 50 Cent's experience highlighted a harsh reality. Talent and popularity are only part of the equation. Financial literacy and legal savvy are equally critical. Producers and collaborators often face similar challenges. Many work tirelessly on hit records but see only minimal upfront payments, while labels collect royalties for years. This system creates an invisible hierarchy, where those responsible for the creative foundation of the music are often the least financially rewarded. Some producers have spoken openly about this, describing scenarios where a hit song that generates millions in revenue yields almost nothing for the team behind it, all while the label profits exponentially. It's a cycle that continues to repeat because the structures themselves are deeply embedded in industry norms. Public spats and social media posts sometimes shed light on these hidden conflicts. When artists call out their labels, it's often viewed as drama or ego clashes, but beneath the surface, These disputes usually revolve around control of money, masters, or strategic decisions. A viral tweet or Instagram story can signal deep frustrations about revenue allocation, ownership rights, or creative freedom. These moments give fans a glimpse of the financial battles happening behind the scenes, revealing that the glamorous lifestyle portrayed online may not reflect the real struggles artists face. Historical comparisons also reinforce the pattern. Tupac's financial struggles under death row, combined with Suge Knight's controlling tactics, serve as a cautionary tale. Even when Tupac was arguably at the peak of his creative powers, the legal and financial structures of the label limited how he could capitalize on his success. These stories echo decades later in modern rap, where artists continue to navigate intricate contracts that protect the label more than the artist. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Even successful artists like Lil Baby and Lil Durk have had to carefully navigate contracts and collaborations to ensure they maintain control over their earnings. While they now command significant revenue streams, the path to this level of financial security involved understanding the pitfalls that trapped earlier generations of rappers. Every collaboration, every deal, every endorsement must be scrutinized, not just for exposure, but for how revenue will flow and who will ultimately benefit. In an industry designed to maximize profit for labels, knowledge is a form of survival. Independent artists who go against the system highlight just how unfair the mainstream model can be. By taking control of their music, branding, and distribution, they can bypass the hidden fees and contractual tricks that dominate traditional label deals. But independence comes with challenges: higher personal risk, upfront costs, and the responsibility of handling every business decision. Still, artists like Young Dolph, and more recently others who have chosen the independent route, demonstrate that freedom and financial control are possible when you refuse to be a pawn in someone else's game. The psychological toll of these financial battles is also significant. Many artists describe feeling trapped, pressured, or even betrayed by the very people they trusted. Contracts aren't just legal documents, they're tools of control. Being forced to sign away rights, endure deductions, or cede creative control can be demoralizing. Add the constant public scrutiny, the expectation to maintain a glamorous lifestyle, and the pressures of touring and promotion, and it's clear why financial disputes can escalate into personal and professional conflicts. Even the youngest artists entering the industry must now navigate a landscape fraught with potential pitfalls. Labels aggressively pursue talent, offering advances, exposure, and promises of mentorship, but often with hidden costs. Deals are rarely straightforward, and the most lucrative contracts are often the most complicated. Without guidance, even a talented rapper can find themselves entangled in agreements that siphon revenue for years. This knowledge gap has led to a rise in independent artists educating themselves on contracts, intellectual property rights, and revenue streams before ever signing with a label. The industry's financial realities also shape collaboration dynamics. Artists often negotiate complex profit-sharing agreements with features, producers, and co-writers. Labels oversee these agreements, sometimes tipping the scales in their favor. The resulting tension can fracture relationships, influence creative decisions, and ultimately affect the music that reaches fans. It's a high-stakes game where financial strategy can be as important as lyrical skill or performance ability. Finally, public perception plays a crucial role in these dynamics. Fans see success as synonymous with wealth and stability, but that perception is carefully curated by both artists and labels. Instagram posts, music videos, and public appearances are often partially financed by the label, creating an illusion of autonomy. Meanwhile, the real financial battles happen quietly. Deductions, recoupments, hidden fees, and legal maneuvering dictate the flow of money long before a single fan listens to a track. These stories collectively paint a picture of an industry where financial manipulation is normalized, transparency is rare, and artists must constantly fight to retain control. Whether through historical examples like Tupac and Death Row, modern disputes with quality control, or independent successes like Young Dolph, one thing is clear: the system is designed to favor labels. But the artists who understand the rules, assert their rights, and demand ownership are the ones who ultimately thrive, proving that knowledge, strategy, and courage are as essential as talent in hip-hop. In the next segment, we'll uncover the most shocking, jaw-dropping examples of label exploitation, diving into the real numbers, controversial disputes, and insider revelations that most fans have never heard. From multi-million-dollar albums to viral singles, these stories will show exactly how some labels secretly profit while artists do the heavy lifting, creating hits and building culture that often enriches someone else far more than themselves. Now it's time to dive into the stories that shock even the most die-hard hip-hop fans. Those moments when labels went beyond the typical contracts and deductions and crossed into territory that left artists questioning everything. These are the tales of betrayal, financial manipulation, and behind-the-scenes deals that reveal the true cost of fame. One of the most talked-about cases involves quality control and the Migos. At the peak of their dominance, insiders claimed that the label was strategically structuring deals to capture nearly all revenue streams. The group's viral hits, massive tours, and brand partnerships created billions in revenue, but the artists often had to negotiate intensely to get fair compensation. Fans saw the luxury cars, designer wardrobes, and sold-out arenas, but what they didn't see was the intricate accounting that dictated how much of that money actually landed in the rappers' pockets. It's a classic example of how labels use perceived glamour as a tool to keep artists in line while maximizing profits. Young Dolph's experience offers a striking contrast. By staying independent, he retained control over his music and finances, showing just how powerful ownership can be. He often spoke about the pitfalls of signing with a major label, warning younger artists that the very deals promising them exposure could end up costing them more than they gain. His business strategy wasn't about hype or appearances. It was about numbers, ownership, and longevity. For Dolph, independence wasn't just a choice. It was survival, and it highlighted just how differently the money flows when an artist is truly in control. Historical examples also illustrate the deep-rooted nature of these practices. Death Row Records, under Suge Knight, was notorious not just for its aggressive tactics but also for financial exploitation. Tupac Shakur, arguably one of the most talented and influential artists of all time, often faced hurdles in accessing his own earnings. Contracts were structured to recoup every cost from the artist, whether for studio time, promotion, or even lifestyle perks. These arrangements meant that despite creating cultural milestones, Tupac frequently had to fight for his financial freedom. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and other contemporaries navigated similar waters, highlighting a systemic issue that continues to influence modern hip-hop. Even 50 Cent has shared stories of hidden deductions and convoluted contracts that made it difficult for artists to truly profit from their success. While he eventually mastered the game, early experiences revealed just how opaque and manipulative label deals can be. Advances that seem generous, royalty percentages that appear fair, and promises of exposure can all be cleverly structured to favor the label first, leaving artists scrambling to understand where their money actually goes. Producers and collaborators also face hidden challenges. Many top producers work under contracts that guarantee minimal upfront payment while the label collects long-term royalties. Some producers have revealed scenarios where a track generates millions in revenue, but after deductions and label fees, they receive only a small fraction. This system reinforces the hierarchy within the industry, rewarding the label at nearly every turn while creative contributors are left with the least. It's a model that has repeated itself across decades, and insiders say it's unlikely to change unless artists actively assert ownership and transparency. Public disputes sometimes bring these conflicts to light, often through social media or interviews. When Migos or other artists have called out their labels, it's rarely about ego. It's about financial control, ownership of masters, and access to revenue. These moments reveal the tension between public perception and private reality. Fans see artists living lavish lifestyles, but behind the scenes, negotiations, recoupments, and legal clauses dictate how much of that apparent wealth actually belongs to the creators. Streaming platforms have added another layer of complexity. Revenue from streams flows through labels, and artists may see only a portion of the money generated. A viral track might create millions of dollars in revenue, yet the majority can be diverted to cover label expenses, distribution, and administrative fees. Even top-charting singles don't always guarantee financial security for the artist, further illustrating the necessity of understanding the business side of the music industry. Independent artists continue to demonstrate alternative approaches, showing that it is possible to retain financial control while building a brand. By managing their own contracts, touring, and merchandising, independent rappers can ensure the majority of their earnings remain in their hands. This independence contrasts sharply with the traditional label system, highlighting the long-term value of ownership, transparency, and strategic decision-making. It's no surprise that many modern artists study the careers of figures like Young Dolph before making critical decisions about their own careers. Legal battles are another arena where the high-stakes nature of hip-hop business comes into focus. Artists who challenge their labels often face years of litigation, high legal fees, and public scrutiny, all while trying to continue producing music and maintaining their fanbase. These battles underscore how deeply entrenched the financial advantage is for labels, and why knowledge of contracts, intellectual property rights, and revenue streams is essential. The music may belong to the artist creatively, but financially, it often remains under the control of the label unless carefully negotiated. Some of the most shocking revelations involve multi-million-dollar deals where the label captured nearly the entirety of the revenue. For instance, albums that generate tens of millions in streaming and merchandise revenue may still result in minimal earnings for the artist after the label's recoupments, marketing fees, and other deductions. These stories illustrate the stark contrast between public perception and reality, a contrast that keeps fans enthralled by the luxury lifestyle they see while the artist's financial freedom is anything but guaranteed. This pattern of control and manipulation isn't limited to mega-labels or legacy executives. Even modern labels are accused of carefully engineering contracts and deals that maximize profit while limiting transparency. Hidden clauses, recoupable expenses, and deductions are standard, meaning that artists must be extremely savvy to avoid losing substantial revenue. It's an ongoing game of strategy, negotiation, and survival, and only those who understand the business fully can navigate it successfully. The emotional toll of these conflicts cannot be overstated. Artists invest not just their talent but also their identity into their work, only to find that financial freedom is often elusive. The struggle to maintain control, protect earnings, and preserve creative rights can be mentally exhausting, especially when compounded by public scrutiny and the pressure to deliver hits consistently. These realities shed light on why some artists choose to stay independent or take extreme measures to protect themselves financially. Despite the challenges, hip-hop continues to thrive, driven by creativity, resilience, and the sheer determination of artists to succeed. But the stories of hidden profits, label exploitation, and financial manipulation serve as cautionary tales. They remind both fans and aspiring artists that the industry is as much about business acumen and legal knowledge as it is about talent, performance, or popularity. The narratives of Young Dolph, Migos, Tupac, and countless others reveal that the glamour and wealth fans see are often carefully curated, while the real battles over money and ownership happen behind the scenes. As we move into the final section, it's time to reflect on what these stories teach us, not just about the business of hip-hop, but about strategy, awareness, and empowerment. Understanding how some labels secretly profit off artists is the first step in a larger conversation about ownership, transparency, and creative freedom. By learning from these experiences, upcoming artists can avoid common pitfalls, make smarter decisions, and reclaim the power that has historically been concentrated in the hands of a few executives. Now that you've seen how some labels secretly profit off hip-hop stars, it's time to ask yourself what this means for the culture, the artists, and even the fans who support them. The truth is, knowledge is power. Understanding the business side of the music industry isn't just for lawyers or executives. It's for anyone who cares about fairness, transparency, and the future of hip-hop. Every time a rapper creates a hit, every time a track goes viral, the question of who actually benefits comes into play. Fans have the power to pay attention, to question, and to support artists who are taking control of their own careers. For artists watching this, the lesson is clear. Never underestimate the importance of owning your work. Masters, publishing rights, contracts, and revenue streams aren't just legal terms. They're your lifeline to financial freedom. The stories of Young Dolph, Tupac, Migos, and countless others show that talent alone isn't enough. Understanding contracts, seeking knowledgeable advisors, and making strategic decisions can mean the difference between being exploited and building a lasting legacy. The music may define your voice, but ownership defines your power. And for fans, your role matters too. Supporting artists directly through merchandise, independent releases, and platforms that allow creators to earn fairly can make a huge difference. Awareness of how labels operate changes the way we appreciate music, not just as entertainment, but as a business ecosystem that impacts the lives of the people behind it. The more fans understand, the more pressure labels face to operate fairly and transparently. If you want to see more deep dives into hip-hop's hidden truths, insider stories, and shocking revelations, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the discussion in the comments. Share your thoughts. Have you noticed how certain artists seem to thrive independently while others get stuck in label disputes? Who do you think is managing the business side of their career best? Your opinions and insights could start conversations that make a real difference in how people view the industry.